In the last 4 years, we've been working together. And I wonder why that at every point in time that the House says no to the request of the governor, it became something else. As the constitutional saddled the governor to inform the House about his nominees. So the House also has responsibility to say yes or no, which we have done. We are not going to be threatened. And the civil society organization that are threatening to protest, you can protest, it's your constitutional rights. But don't think you are going to intimidate me or the House. We are not going to be intimidated. We have said no, and we have said no. If there's any reason for us to reverse our decision, if there is, and it is germane and convincing, maybe we may.
You're welcome back to Politics HQ. The Lagos State House of Assembly has revealed it will not reveal the discovery it made after investigations into some commission and nominees submitted by the executive. The Assembly rejected 17 of the 39 nominees submitted and has revealed it won't expose the findings of its investigations. Protest and criticism from various sections of the public have trailed the decision of the Assembly as it continues to generate a fuss in the media and in the general public. Now, joining us tonight to discuss this is Sulaiman Arigbabu, Executive Secretary, HEDA Resource Centre in Lagos. And I also have Dayo, Akintobi, Public Affairs Analyst, who joins us from London in the United Kingdom. A warm welcome to you, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on the programme.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
Good evening to you. I'd like to start with you, Sulaiman. Can you provide an overview of the recent decision? Okay, sorry about that. Could you provide an overview of the comments made? I'm sure you did see that footage by Mudashiru Obasa, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, saying, they will not be intimidated. And they've said those who want to protest can protest. And, we have things against the 17 commissioner nominees who we're not going to reveal at the moment. What do you make of all of this?
All right, thank you. Of course, the Speaker did say that those who wish to protest, it is their constitutional right to protest, and that's a sacrosanct. If people feel aggrieved by the decision of the Parliament, of course they could approach the Parliament for their reasons, or they could protest. They could even go to court, But really, generally speaking, I have said on this on your station and somewhere else that this is the Parliament of Lagos trying to assert itself. We do not know whether it's for altruistic reasons or it's for self-aggrandizement, where we cannot allege either. The most we can just hope is that this is being done because they feel the need to be truly independent. And part of exercising their independence is their efforts at performing their constitutional duties of
oversight, responsibility.
Oversight. The exercise they have just concluded, which is the verification of those who will become commissioners, and they did say that some people did not scale through. My only disappointment is where they say that they found so many things that they will not be.
They won't spill, and that brings me to my next question, Sulaiman. Is this not a matter of public interest? If you found things that are unpalatable with the public, and if you've seen that you're not going to grant them pass to become commissioners, is it not a matter of public interest? Your public servants, Mr. Mudashiru Obasa, did say, he's doing it to protect the party. Has this gone beyond party level? And does he have a responsibility to the people of Lagos State to reveal the reasons why he's rejected this commission and nominees?
Well, the truth is that ultimately it is the party that will form a government, and that must be made clear. It is the party that has won the election. unless the court says otherwise, and it hasn't said so. So it is the party that will form the government. So when he says that it's protecting the interest of the party, what we just need to know is, what is this interest of the party? Does it align, with interest of the citizens, which is the ultimate? Outside of that, yes, he has every right to protect. Of course, the ask can come and tell you that, some returning commissioners have not been passed to go back to their previous offices because, in their own estimation, they did not do well, or they did some things to subvert the interests of the state or the public. So, I mean, they have not given. So, our only regret is that they are not sharing that excuse. I, of course, know that sometimes exigencies of politics, exigencies of public peace may not allow them to say as much as they ought to say. But if anybody is really interested, there are two ways of getting the information out of Parliament. One is to approach them formally and demand a reason for their action. And if they are not, we can also test the case in court and say, does the Parliament have the powers to... But you would understand again that this is still an intra-government affair. It's between the executive and the Parliament. It will suffice if they communicate their reasons to Mr. Governor, who is the one who originated in this in the first place. And don't forget that there were concerns about the list, beyond whatever reasons the Parliament is not sharing. On the day that the list was first attended to on the floor of the House, there were some representatives of constituents who raised concerns that their constituencies were underrepresented or not represented at all. I don't also forget that some other groups had come out earlier, for instance, the Muslim group, who had said that this list was not inclusive, that the proportion of the two faiths in that list, is not acceptable to them.
Thank you very much, Sulaiman. I would like to bring in our second guest at this point, Dayo in London, to share his thoughts on this latest development. Now, Dayo, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, mentioned that the House has refrained from revealing the details of its discoveries during the screening process. Can you offer insight into the potential implications of revealing such information? Is it so damning that it should become public information, considering the delicate relationship between the executive and the legislature? I also want you to provide an analysis of the historical collaboration. I mean, Governor Sanwo-Olu just finished his first term, so he's been working the Lagos State House of Assembly for the last 4 years. What's your analysis of the historical collaboration between Speaker Obasa and Governor Sanwo-Olu? How might this shared history impact the way Assembly's decisions are perceived and interpreted by the public?
Well, in the first term of the governor, the first 4 years, they seem to have had a harmonious working relationship. It seems just about everything the governor wanted to get out of the House of Assembly, he was able to get. They passed his budgets without too much ado, and pretty much all the bills he wanted to sign were able to sail through. I think this is a larger issue. I don't think so much this is a House versus executive, as you would see, say, perhaps if an assembly was populated by the opposition, where you would see systemic contention. In this particular case, this seems to be a particular grudge match between the Speaker
what do you suspect
and the Governor.
This grudge match is about? What are the issues?
Well, we're hearing through the grapevine that the Speaker has gubernatorial ambition, and that might run counter to the Governor's interest down the road. So perhaps they are loggerheads over the fact that maybe the Governor has his reasons why he won't support the ambition of the Speaker to run for Governor after him. We don't really know. There's a lot they're keeping close to their chest, but one thing is clear. There are daggers drawn between the two of them, and there is major contention. That contention has now spilled over into the larger House, to where it is now having an impact on the interest of the people of Lagos State. Because the people out on the street generally have a viewpoint that those who are not confirmed in their first term actually acquitted themselves admirably, and that they worked in service of the people and deserve to have come back to continue the good work they started. I mean, Professor Akintobi has received a lot of kudos. Mrs. Adefisai of Education has received accolades. Even Gbenga of Information and a few others were said to have done so well in their first term that is unfathomable that the House can have any cogent reason. I listened to the Speaker yesterday. He said those who live in glass houses should not throw stones. He said that in the screening process they discovered some things that made them withhold confirmation of these people. I think they owe a duty to the people of Lagos. I think it was arrogant of him to say that anybody who cares to know should approach the House. I think the House has a responsibility to the people they speak for to let us know what their thinking is on issues, especially if they seem to be running at cross purposes to the will of the people.
Now, Mr. Akintobi, sorry to interrupt you at this point. When it comes to ministerial nominees, we do know there's a security check that the DSS carries out to vet these nominees. I mean, the only reason you did mention Professor Akintobi and other commissioners that did perform remarkably well in the first term of Mr. Governor. Could it be that, you know, there's some security reasons or national security considerations and why they were not passed? Or does the state assembly have the capacity to carry out security clearance of the commissioner nominees? Because for ordinary people, that might be one of the reasons why they think, you know, Mr. Al-Bassa and members of the House did not clear their nomination.
When the House of Representatives didn't clear 3 of President Tinubu's nominees on account of security concerns, they said so, expressly stated that those people did not make security clearance, even though they did not go into detail as to what the particular security issues were. But they gave us an umbrella basis that it was a security purpose. In this case, we are not told that. So I don't think that they can hide under the gambit of the fact that perhaps they were not cleared. I don't know who does the clearance at the state level, whether it is the DSS or it is the House of Assembly has a subcommittee who looks into these things and makes recommendations. But the point that I continue to maintain is that whatever the reason for withholding assent, we the people deserve to know. It is a gross disservice for them to say, we didn't confirm them and we didn't confirm them, and those of you who don't like it can take a hike. That in office, I think they owe us a lot more than just broad brushing something and sweeping it under the carpet when it is at cross purposes to the will of the people. So I think they should man up. It's not up to us to go and interrogate them. They are there as our representatives, and it is their duty to keep us informed of their thinking. That is what empowers us to know what to do about them 4 years down the road. If we don't know what their thinking is on issues, how are we educated and knowledgeable enough to make decisions on whether we want them to continue to represent us or not? So I still stand on the fact that irrespective of whatever the basis was, it's not good enough to simply say, we've done it, and we did it because we know what is best for the people of Lagos. I mean, they're all in the same party. If within the same party they can't come to agreement, the way I understand this nomination process to work is they all sit down together in the beginning and they all agree, because federal character that says you have to have 36 ministers, one from each state, also says the same thing at the state level. You have to have commissioners from every local government. So the governor doesn't know people in all 20 local governments across Lagos that are competent for every office. So he reaches out to people in his party. He reaches out to local government chairman.
Okay.
He reaches out to
thank you very much, Dayo. I would like to bring back. Yes. Thank you, Dayo. I'd like to bring back. I do see your passion and why you think, you know, it's a public. It's for the public. It's for the good of the people of Lagos, and it shouldn't be shrouded in secrecy, and politicking should get to a level where it shouldn't affect the well-being of the people of Lagos. Now I'd like to bring back Sulaiman into the conversation. Sulaiman, we were here when the first case of COVID by the Italian was reported in Lagos State, and many have gone on to praise the Lagos State government for being on top of the situation. This was a global health crisis, and the Commissioner of Health in Lagos State then was Professor Akintobi, and his rejection, like Mr. Dayo Akintobi said, it was quite shocking to many people. The rejection of nominees like Professor Akintobi, who played a significant role in managing COVID-19, appears to suggest a broader evaluation of performance beyond the pandemic response. Can you discuss the broader factors that influence the rejection of nominees with notable public service records?
Well, the fact remains that if you scrutinize the speaker's statement, he did mention that beyond COVID-19, there are other issues of service delivery that perhaps they do not feel satisfied with the efforts of the former commissioner, Professor Akintobi. I mean, for some of us, we look at him as one of the performers in the last administration of Governor Sanwo-Olu. But then you will know that there are other issues. That is, and I'm talking as if we all understand that the House is doing this because they are vetting their records of public service, not some other extraneous factors. If it is about public service, the most that we can take from what the speaker has said is that, we have our general hospitals. What's their state? There's just been an accident in one of our general hospitals where a doctor died. What's been the state of some of these things? So on that basis, they could take up Professor Abayomi, and if they feel it falls short, this is why you have this kind of situation. But let's go beyond this, because if we start to open it up, they are going to have a lot of things to say, and that's why he has said that, hey, let's be careful. Those who live in glass houses should not throw stones. But let's go to the truth of the fact. The truth of the fact is that this is politics. This is politics. Of course, I do not have from anywhere, any grapevine, that Mr. Speaker has political ambition. And if he does, it will be foolhardy to start fighting the incumbent, because that would probably even frustrate such an ambition. But the truth is that Governor Sanwo-Olu needs to rise up to the leader. There's a leadership vacuum in Lagos State with the exit of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Abuja. The governor has not been able to fill that vacuum. He has not been able to find the formula to keep everybody within his area of influence. So this is something that the governor himself needs to resolve. If he had done enough consultation with all those who he needed to have consulted with, if he had done enough politicking with the parliament, and I'm not endorsing anything out of order, I'm not endorsing anything illegal, but I'm just saying that politics is about negotiations. So if he had done the appropriate thing with the parliament, he probably would not be in this kind of situation. And he needs to fix that. You see, this is where we have a huge problem. If there is power vacuum in Lagos and they are going to be brick-breaking like this, they are going to be fighting, it's going to affect even the little service delivery that citizens of Lagos think that we enjoy better than
very important. Very important, Sulaiman. But I would like to bring in our studio guest, Mr. Adeyemi Saka, Mr. Adeyemi Saka, Public Affairs Analyst. Now, Mr. Saka, the Assembly's commitment, I mean, it's constitutional responsibility. It's its oversight function, and it's very evident. But how does this commitment intersect? How do you balance it with the need to foster a productive relationship with the executive branch for effective governance and development in Lagos State? The fact that the principles of separation of powers is there does not mean you should antagonize the executive, or the executive should antagonize the legislature. What do you think of this commissioner nominee issues, and how do they reach a compromise and a fair balance for the good of the people of Lagos, who are the most important people in this discussion?
Well, you said something very fantastic, and it's just disheartening that we're sitting down here and analyzing how the Speaker of the State Assembly could say is rejecting nomination of some people because they are technocrats. You could not start asking yourself, is it a crime? Or when has it become a crime for technocrats to be in government or to be involved in governance? It shows the kind of, it shows the constitution of this legislative arm of government in Lagos State and across board. And sometimes I tell people that the evil you tolerate goes into the devil that comes in you. At some point in the twilight of the administration of former Governor Kilman, this house was backing tough, talking tough, we're going to impeach him, do this, and everybody was ailing them because they seemed to be on the side of the popular sentiment of the party leadership as at that time that didn't want anything like Kilman. Whether we like it or not, some people might just imagine that this is just the House of Assembly doing its job. This is already 2027 playing out. I'm not going to hide behind a thing. I'm not going to try to, patronize people or paint it out. This is 2027 going, like Sulaiman said. Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, now the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not in Lagos. It's now the fight for the soul of Lagos. And if the governor can have his people, because what I would like, an average commissioner is expectedly the representative of the government, from whether the local government or central district is coming from. So they see that the governor is already festering himself, wants to be in charge of the command, control, and communication of political activities of Lagos State. Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is busy with the presidency and is busy in Abuja. But the sad thing here is this, the optics. How can you, in all sense of decency, sense of duty, sense of responsibility to the state, reject some people because they're technocrats? Yes, we know winner takes. It's just telling that these
but where does political experience come in? Because they feel they're reaping where they didn't sow. Like, where were you during the campaign? You can't just wear suits and show up and you expect us to
whether we like it or not. No, I tell people, you see, even political appointments and is based on political patronage and what you did for at what time. But based on what you can, that's why I tell a lot of people that move around these politicians supporting an ambition on anything. I tell them, get a skill set, get something that makes you marketable. Because you're an APC world chairman in let me use my Gbenga LCD, because you're a party member, but what you all just have is probably you're just a welder or a bricklayer. No disrespect to the profession, you're an artisan. Will I make a commissioner for works?
I mean, at the end of the day, it should be a strong balance for those who can do the work and deliver the goods of democracy. But we're out of time. Adeyemi Saka will definitely have a part 2 of this.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to engaging with you. I'd like to say thank you to our distinguished guest, Sulaiman Arigbabu, Executive Secretary, HEDA, Resource Centre, who joined from Lagos, and of course Dayo Akintobi, Public Affairs Analyst in London, the United Kingdom, and our studio guest, Adeyemi Saka. We look forward to engaging with you soon. Thank you very much for your insights and your time. I am Gbenga Aborowa. See you next time on Politics HQ.